Welcome back. As the war with Iran continues, NATO air defenses destroyed an Iranian ballistic missile headed toward Turkish airspace. But Iran's armed forces have denied firing missiles toward its neighbor. The incident sparked fears that NATO could invoke Article 5, drawing it deep into the conflict. The clause specifies that any attack on one of its members is an attack on all. But despite this incident, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte says that's not on the table right now.
Well, Article 5, I think, is not in order here. Nobody's talking about Article 5. And the most important thing is that our adversaries have seen yesterday that NATO is so strong and so vigilant, and even more vigilant, if possible, since Saturday because of the situation, of course, in the Middle East. So they see and know and sense that our military are on this.
All right, let's bring in Jeanna Smialek, Brussels bureau chief for the New York Times. Jeanna, thank you so much for your time today. We just heard from Mark Rutte there on where NATO stands on invoking Article 5, but can you talk to us about how other NATO members are responding to this war right now?
I think we've seen a lot of caution, but we've also seen a lot of NATO members, particularly here in Europe, really respond by realizing that they may have to at least sort of prepare for this situation to get worse before it gets better. And so what we've seen is France, the Netherlands, Italy, for example, all sort of positioning military forces or sending some sort of help either to the Gulf or to the Mediterranean in response to these various incidents, both the situation in Turkey, but also the fact that there were drones in Cyprus, which is an European Union member and not a NATO state, but obviously a bit closer to Europe. And so I think we've seen a real sort of reaction to this. But as Mr. Rutte said there, they are not invoking Article 5 yet. And so this is not full NATO involvement, but certainly a realization that things are potentially changing quickly here.
How are European countries towing the line between domestic pressures and also protecting their allies and assets?
Yeah, so I think it's a really interesting and quickly evolving situation for them. We've seen some of them be very resistant to what is going on. Obviously, Pedro Sanchez from Spain has probably been the most vocal in opposing this war and really sort of, insisting that Spain does not want to be involved in it. But at the same time, we've seen others, recognize that it's necessary to provide help to partners in the Gulf, or at least vocally sort of support partners in the Gulf. And I think we've seen quite a few European nations just today sort of really starting to talk about things like air defense in the Mediterranean and air defense in the Gulf. And so I think it's a cautious towing of that line. They're not ready to become fully embroiled in this yet, but they are clearly aware that this is a situation that is quickly changing.
We'll see how it all plays out. Jeanna Smialek, thank you so much for your time.